Whether you pay attention to politics or would rather tune out the theatrics, the truth is the decisions your elected officials make really do affect your daily life. And I'm not just talking about this guy or what happens in Washington, D.C. State and local government directly impacts our communities, and the changes they make often have much more immediate effects. So listen up, because we're about to deep dive into a very powerful but often overlooked part of the government, the Arizona State Legislature. But first, where does the state legislature fit into our systems of government? Most people know about the federal government, which is divided into the executive, congressional, and judicial branches. The executive branch is led by the President of the United States. U.S. Congress is composed of the Senate and the House, and the U.S. Supreme Court, the U.S. Court of Appeals, and the U.S. District Courts comprise the judicial branch. State governments are similarly divided, but the fine print is dictated by each state's own unique constitution. In Arizona, voters elect a governor, a secretary of state, and an attorney general to our state's executive branch. Voters also elect state senators and state representatives for each legislative district. Lastly, there's the Arizona judicial branch. Our state's Supreme Court justices and appellate court judges are appointed by the governor, but voters get to provide a check on power through judicial retention elections. We could talk about elections all day, but we'll save that for a future video. For now, let's get back to the Arizona State Legislature. Every January marks the beginning of the legislative session. Members of the Arizona House and Arizona Senate come together to consider and pass bills about education, healthcare, housing, transportation, criminal justice, civil rights, and dozens of other issues that shape what life looks like for millions of Arizonans. So, who makes up our state legislature and how are they elected? The state of Arizona is divided into 30 legislative districts. Voters in each of those districts elect one state senator and 2 representatives every 2 years. All 90 members come from the 30 legislative districts across the state. Both senators and representatives serve 2-year terms. They can serve up to 4 consecutive terms in each chamber, meaning they can remain in the Senate and the House for a maximum of 8 years at a time. With such a frequent turnover, the legislators' priorities can quickly change, which makes public engagement from constituents like you and me even more important. During the legislative session, state senators and representatives are writing the policies, determining what advances, working in committees to vet and debate bills, taking input from constituents, and voting on proposals that affect all Arizonans. It's crucial to think of these elected officials as the direct link between the people and the policymaking process. They shape Arizona law, but at the end of the day, they should be answering to you, their constituent. Another major player in the legislative process is the governor. The governor has the power to sign bills into law, veto them, propose the state budget, and call special legislative sessions. While legislators draft and vote on bills, the governor often decides which ones become law. Now that you know who does what, let's talk about when. Each year, on the second Monday of January, the Arizona legislature begins its annual session. State law requires that the session end no later than the Saturday of the week containing the 100th day after session begins, although leaders can extend it a few days if needed, and often do. The session can go even longer, but only with the majority vote from both the House and the Senate. Once the session begins, lawmakers introduce bills that reflect their priorities or the needs of their constituents. After a bill is introduced, it goes through a lengthy process. We'll get more in-depth in that in our next video, but here's the TLDR. Once a bill is introduced in the House or the Senate, it's assigned to one or more committees, which act as the gatekeepers of the legislative process. Committees are small groups of lawmakers from the same chamber organized by topic. They hold public hearings, listen to testimony from experts and community members, and decide whether a bill should move forward. If a bill makes it out of committee, it must go through several other stages before being voted on by both chambers and ultimately making it to the governor's desk. Even though the legislative process may seem distant and complicated, your voice plays a critical role in ensuring policymakers pass laws that shape our future and democracy. If legislators don't hear from you, they assume that you approve of their decisions. A phone call, email, or letter can influence how lawmakers vote. See our guide for more details on how you can get involved in the legislative process, or subscribe to our channel for our upcoming video where we deep dive into legislative advocacy.